What if I told you there's a way to make someone think about you even when you're not around? Not because you're louder or trying harder, but because you give them something their brain starts craving. Imagine this: someone you want to notice who barely knows you exist. But what if, after just a few conversations, they start looking forward to seeing you? What if they feel like something's missing when you're gone? Here's what you're about to learn. First, how to spot what a person secretly needs. Second, how to give it to them in a way that feels natural. And third, the one mistake that destroys everything, which I'll reveal at the end. This works whether you want someone to like you romantically, respect you at work, or simply pay more attention to you. The rule is always the same. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people try to be interesting. They show off, they talk about themselves, they try to impress. That's completely backwards. The real secret is making the other person feel something they don't get anywhere else. I once watched someone do this without even realizing it. They weren't the most attractive, the funniest, or the most confident person in the room, but people kept coming back to them, looking for them, asking when they'd be around again. Why? Because they understood something most of us miss. Every person walks around with an invisible gap inside them, something they want, but rarely get. And when you fill that gap, they become attached to you. Not because you're perfect, but because you give them what nobody else does. There are 4 main types of gaps, and most people have one that's stronger than the others. Your job is to notice which one it is, and you don't guess, you watch. When you talk to someone, most of the time their energy is pretty normal, but sometimes, something changes. They lean in, they talk faster, their eyes light up, their voice shifts. That's the signal. Pay attention to what caused it. Maybe you mention working out and suddenly they get animated, talking about their routine. Maybe you bring up business and they get serious, explaining their dream twice, like they're waiting for your reaction. That's not random. That's the gap showing itself. Most people miss this because they're too busy thinking about what to say next. But you're going to watch instead, because once you see the gap, you know exactly what matters to them. Now, the first type of person craves validation. They want to feel special, admired, and seen. They talk about their wins, their achievements. Sometimes they even repeat the same story. Most people make a mistake here. They give direct compliments like, "You're so smart," or "You're really talented." That feels good for 5 seconds. Then it disappears. Instead, you make them feel valued without saying it directly. Ask them for real advice about something they're good at. Then listen and say, "I never thought about it that way." That actually makes a lot of sense. You're not telling them they're smart. You're treating them like they are. Or, mention that someone else noticed them. "Mike was talking about how you run 6 miles without stopping. I didn't even believe him." Now they feel validated twice. People talk about them, and what they do sounds impressive. You can even joke about what makes them stand out. Keep it light and playful. You're acknowledging their value without turning it into empty praise. The second type of person lives with fear. They have a big goal that would change their life. A business, a career switch, a new school, a dream. Everyone tells them, "You can do it. Believe in yourself." That doesn't help. Deep down, they're scared it won't work. They're scared they'll fail. They're scared they're wasting time. When they talk about it, don't jump into advice. That's the mistake everyone makes. What they want isn't solutions. They want hope. So you give them stories. Real examples. Someone who was in the same position, with the same doubts and the same fear, and still made it. "My cousin was exactly where you are. No experience, totally lost. He stuck with it, and now he works at a big company. He told me the turning point was realizing everyone starts at 0. You're not fixing their problem. You're making them feel less alone in it." The third type carries a wound. Maybe they were rejected. Maybe they failed publicly. Maybe they were betrayed or embarrassed themselves. They don't just feel bad. They feel like something is wrong with them. Your job isn't to fix the wound, it's to reframe it. If they were rejected, don't say, "You're too good for them anyway." That sounds fake. Instead, show them the bigger picture. Didn't that person just get out of a long relationship? Haven't they rejected other people too? Isn't their life kind of chaotic right now? You're helping them see it wasn't about their worth. It was about circumstances. Or if they've moved on, point out what's better now, how they're treated better by others, how this new situation fits them more. You're helping their brain update the story. Now, here's the part most people completely miss. All of this only works if you don't do it every single time. Timing is everything. If you give someone validation, hope, or reassurance in every conversation, it becomes normal. it loses its power. Instead, you give it sometimes, randomly, unpredictably. Your brain reacts much more strongly to rewards that come at random. It's the same reason people get addicted to social media, gambling, and checking their phone. So after you've filled their gap a few times, pull back, have a normal conversation, let them feel the difference. Now their brain starts to associate you with that feeling they crave, but not always. So they want to talk to you more. They start thinking about you, wondering when they'll get that feeling again. And here's the most important rule of all. This only works if you're genuine. If you're faking interest just to manipulate people, they will feel it. The goal isn't to trick people into liking you. It's to understand what they need and actually give it when you can. When you do this right, something strange happens. People start texting you first. They remember things you said. They look forward to seeing you, not because you're perfect, and not because you talk the most, but because you make them feel understood. And that is what people truly get attached to. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.